Hey everybody, I'm Howard, and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. I want to follow up today on a topic I briefly mentioned on my last video. I was talking about Devin Carroll's Social Security solution video. I mentioned within his comments, I saw a lot of people saying, repeating, spreading, age-old myths about Social Security. And there's a couple I want to address today. I'm probably going to have to do this about once a month. I've done this in the past. Clearly, I had a much smaller audience at the time. As my audience grows and I get the word out to more people, hopefully we can start to bust some of these myths. I don't see these comments so much on my videos. I'm not sure why. There's 2 or 3 other YouTubers where I see that comment a lot. So I'm not sure whether it's a difference in the knowledge base or what's going on. I can't explain it, but I want to address it and just hope by more and more people seeing my videos that we can knock down these myths, because they bug me. They're just so wrong, and they hurt people because they make decisions based on these. And my sense is a lot of them are politically motivated, politically driven, but they're just not true. So, the first one is the biggest one, and that is the myth that somehow Congress, fill in the blank here, whether it's Congress, the president, President Johnson, President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, somebody, somewhere, sometime, somehow has or is stealing funds from Social Security. And just let me make this clear. That has never happened. It isn't happening now. No one steals money from Social Security. It's virtually impossible to do, first of all. Second of all, there's no actual money in the Social Security Trust Fund. And here's how it works, and I've explained this before, so bear with me. Since 1939, by law, the Social Security Administration is required to invest all excess funds, any funds they don't use for benefits in that current period, all excess funds are required to be invested into Treasury securities. Call them bills or bonds, whatever you want to call them. And for those investments, the Social Security Administration receives regular interest payments. And as they need that money to pay benefits, it's returned by the Treasury. So as of right now, there's somewhere between $2.7 and $2.8 trillion worth of Treasury securities in the trust fund. Now, you can say that by law, the government is required to borrow this money, because that's the truth. That's actually what happens. Once the government or the Treasury takes that money, it goes into the general fund. Now be clear here again, this is not to say that the Social Security Trust Fund is in the general fund. The money borrowed from the trust fund that the government now has is in the general fund, and they can use it for whatever they want. And regardless of what they use it for, or if they don't use it, it has no bearing on the Social Security Trust Fund, which still has those securities in there. And people say, yeah, there's no money in there, there's no trust fund. Well, imagine you have a brokerage account and you have $10,000 and you go buy Treasury bonds. Do you now say you have no brokerage account? No, you have $10,000 worth of Treasury bonds or bills, whatever you buy, in your brokerage account. It's the same way with the Social Security Administration. They make investments, they get interest. In each of the last 2 fiscal years, the government paid the Social Security Administration $67 billion in interest. Now that pays a little bit more than half a year's benefits. I'm sorry, half a month's benefits. Half a month, be clear. So, there is, and I've talked about this before, there's other investments you could look at, and that's a whole other video I already did, but let's not talk about that. So, no one stole the money. No one took it and used it. Johnson didn't fund the Vietnam War with that money. Pelosi didn't fund Trump's impeachment with that money. There's just so many weird rumors to really address. So, a lot of comments you see are, okay, some people are acknowledging the government borrowed the money, but then they make the comment, gee, if they paid it back, we wouldn't be having these problems. Well, keep in mind that when we talk about the trust fund, it's all the money that was borrowed. It's the bonds that replace that money. So by the government, if the government right now paid $2.75 trillion to Social Security Administration, it wouldn't change anything. They would just have cash instead of treasuries. It wouldn't change how much they have. What it would change is they would no longer receive those interest payments. That $67 billion they received last year, they wouldn't get that. So it would only hurt the trust fund if they paid it all back now. Now what's been happening over the last 3 years is payroll tax contributions for Social Security have not been enough to pay benefits. So the trust fund has been tapped over the last 3 years. Right now it's paying somewhere between 4 and 5% of benefits, and that's why the trust fund will start to sink. It's those monies that will be paid back that will run out in 9 to 10 years. Right? It's not like there's money there and then there's this other money that the government borrowed, and if they paid it back, everything's fine. Forget that. The government borrowed the money, they pay it back as it's needed. It doesn't increase the debt of the government. They go out and borrow the money and then pay off the Social Security Administration. So they're just switching the debt from the Social Security Administration to whoever buys those new bonds. Could be you, could be me, could be Japan, it could be MetLife Insurance Company, it could be Vanguard or Fidelity. Whoever invests in those, they'll buy bonds. Government will take that money, give it to Social Security Administration. All right, so there's a funny one. I'll get to that next. All right, so let me get to it now. The other common one I see, and again, I think this is the one that's really politically motivated, is the trust fund wouldn't be in this situation if we stopped paying illegal immigrants. Again, be clear. Illegal immigrants are not eligible for Social Security. They're not eligible for Social Security numbers. They may steal them and use them, but they are not eligible for benefits. They aren't paid out of the Social Security Retirement Trust Fund. There aren't any monies going to people who aren't eligible for benefits. All right? So again, two things. Government nor anyone else is stealing from the trust fund. Benefits aren't going to anybody who hasn't paid into the trust fund, except the wives and children of deceased beneficiaries. So I don't want to make that a blanket statement, but there's nobody, breaking into the country. Somehow, President Biden says, oh, they need money, we'll give it to them out of Social Security Trust Fund. That's not happening. So, like I said, I'll probably have to repeat this every month. If you have questions, let me know. I just want to make this clear to everybody. I want to get rid of those myths. I want everyone to have a good understanding of Social Security and how it works. So when they come up with solutions, you're better able to understand them. When people present resolutions to the problem, you can say, hey, I like that, I'm going to vote for this person, or I don't like that, I'm not going to vote for this person. Understand the issues to make yourself an informed voter is what it comes down to. And understand, because you're part of the Social Security program. Almost everyone watching and listening to this is part of the program. So again, comment. Tell me what you think. You can tell me what you heard, and that's usually how it starts. I heard Johnson borrowed the money and pay off for the Vietnam War. Tell me what you want. Let's have conversations in the comments with each other. You guys have conversations with other commenters. Let's clear this up once and for all going forward. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe. Please like. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.